Okay, good afternoon. I hope everyone is well. So, anyway, Karina, good morning to you. So, market is open. Okay, so really low volume overnight. We've just kind of hardly got anything. It's whether it's anything to do with the news today or not sure. But we seem to have a channel down here, and this looks like a break. So I've got this as a channel on the right side and the left side. I've kind of broken it up into two legs just to kind of double check. So let's see what happens here. But we've had a break and we've pushed down below that EMA. So let's see if we get a lower high or something like that, or a second entry short maybe. Just looking on Bookmap, there is still orders up here. Up as far as 68, which is below this top, I think. But there is orders down here as well. So my gut feeling is I'd like to see this pull back a bit and then drop up to 67 now. That's a bit too close for me. It may work, but I'm going to leave this. This could pull back a little bit further. Okay, stacking up a bit now. It may just come down, but my gut feeling is this is going to pull back. Okay, yeah, I'm going to say there's some orders around 66, 67. So we may get up to here. So we may have like two pushes up. Little Hammer, how you doing? Matt, how you doing, buddy? Okay, two pushes up. So I'm going to get an order.
Order
here.
submitted.
There is still orders up there, but 68 and 68.75, which is here. Still got to be a bit careful here. Okay, there is a second entry short lower high there, but there's just something about this I'm not a massive fan of. Because there's still quite a few orders at 67.50. Which is here. Up at 68.75, so we could get a little bit higher here. We could have two legs up, or possibly triple test. It's hard to say, or it may just come tumbling down. There's no guarantees, but while they're up there, my concern is it goes up to get them. And that may... There is a second entry short stroke lower high there, and it's triggered, but it's a little bit stacked up, so this may push up. It might not, but on this side now, it's looking a lot more stacked up, so you've got to be careful here. You may get stuck there. 1, 2, 3, triple test. I'd like to push up to this line and then find some sellers up there, which want to give us a triple test. 2 would eat out these, take away these 2 bits of liquidity. So 68.75 those orders. So we need to get above here, and if we do that, we should pick them up, and that would give us a triple test then. And then there's plenty of liquidity down here. Is it going to push up? Neil, how you doing? Russell, how you doing, pal? So 68.750, I'm looking for that. So another point, which we'd get if we could get above there, and then we may get a triple test. We've got to get above there for me. We have done, I think, but I still want to get to that 68.75. Another 2 ticks, 1, 2, and that should pick up them orders then. And then we've got a leg with a correction and a leg. I'd still like to go maybe even a little bit higher than that. Let's put that there. That's where I'd like to go. Just a quick push above there, up to 70. Okay, that's, I think, high enough. I'd like to, if we can just tick above this a little bit, 2 legs, then we may get a short here. Okay, 2 perfect measured leg. Let's see if we get a reaction. No, this is not looking to me. It may do. It's gone a bit too far, I think, now. Okay.
Order
I'm going to ditch
cancelled.
that. We still may get it up here. It's just gone a bit too far for me, but it has taken out some liquidity here, so it would have to be a lower high to get me any interest. I didn't expect that. Definitely didn't expect that. Okay, so generally, I think all round was still, well, I say bullish. We may get a leg up. Yesterday, a little bit of, it's more of a range yesterday. We may get another leg up today. Some big orders popping up. Up here on Bookmap, you can see them up here. They're starting to come in thick and fast now. So my feeling is this may get kind of drawn up. It depends. Obviously, you've got to take into consideration aggressive buyers and sellers. It might look like there's a lot of sellers up there, but if the aggressive sellers come in, then it may not get up there. Sometimes it doesn't. It's a big thick line, that is, and that's at 80. Sometimes it just doesn't get up there. Yeah, there is a possibility of something larger. It wouldn't look the worst in the world. We've got a few bounces here. We've had a bounce here and an immediate push up, and we're pushing along that line. Top doesn't look too bad, so it's possible. It's not at the forefront of my mind at the moment, but it is possible. So just for now, I'm going to ditch it. This is coming back quite thick. Maybe a small overshoot there, which has created this. Second leg up. Yeah. I'm kind of umming and ahhing about it, which is why I've just kind of drawn something at the bottom just to see if we get a reaction. So we've had a channel there with the break and a new low. Just see if we get a reaction here. Trouble is, I've looked at these before. It'll do this sometimes. It'll be flattish on the top and it'll be creeping up. And all of a sudden it will get closer to the top and it will just come straight down through it. So I'm not necessarily thinking about, well, I'm not thinking about taking a long up here because at the moment it's still a bit too sideways. We haven't really had enough price action, really. There is a slight upward feel to it. You know, we can see that, but I don't think it's strong enough to think about taking a long trade here because it could just slice straight through that. It does that sometimes. We've still got orders sat down here at 60. So this may well come down. There's bound to be liquidity under all this area here, I think. I'm trying to do something behind me. Trouble is, in the corner of this room, there's a window behind me, and it keeps messing around with the light. 1 minute when the sun comes out, it's bright. So I'm trying to, I've ordered one of those green screens so I completely cut the back off. The trouble is, when you're sat near a window, you've got that kind of backlight issue. It messes around with the exposure a bit. So if I can eliminate that, put a green screen, I should be able to rub that green screen out. I should be about consistent colour. 1 minute I'm bright white, next minute I look like I've been on a sunbed. Just retesting this top again. Could get a leg and a leg down, it's hard to say. You could argue that's a triple test, but at the moment it's just a bit unclear. It may work, it may not. The issue I have is there's still a slight upward bias, so I don't want to be going short close to this area. We came down, got close to this line and pushed up, so it may work and it may not. It's not. There's no setup on this chart, it's that chart. But not only that, we've got a 3-bar little micro with a break, which it could push up and clear that out. So because there is a slight upward bias, this thing could turn and push up a little bit higher. There's a lot of coulds and maybes, and we just haven't got enough price action really to give me a kind of definitive answer. Am I looking for longs or shorts at the moment? I started bricklaying to become a day trader. Have I wrote that on my, what's it? It should say bricklayer to day trader. I thought I might have said something wrong there by the way you said that. Ah, that's what I mean. See, are we getting a move up now? Certainly looks like it. We've had a bit of a bounce here. Channel break, new low. I'm still not ready to trade here at the moment. I mean, it could go up. It could come down. If you look on the left chart here, that slightly bull bar's triggered, but it could come down. So it's really just not clear enough at the moment. Someone's got the channel up and someone hasn't. So he's got sideways. So there's a couple with the channel up and there's some without it. He's got a, is that the same? No, that's a bit, that was yesterday, so my mistake. So Thomas Wade's got the channel up as well. He has as well. He hasn't marked anything. So it's one of those things. Some think it may be. I've put one at the bottom there, just giving it the benefit of the doubt. But I've watched these before, and quite often they do push below. It's like anything. If you watch them enough, they start to. Sometimes they can continue to, you know, do the same thing. So this may slice straight through that. So for me at the moment, it's just a no trade zone. It could do either really. At the moment, it's holding price at EMA. So with that bearish bar up there, it could push up. We could have kind of two legs up and clear this out. I mean, we certainly could have something like this, couldn't we? Leg and a leg, something like that. But I wouldn't want to be long or short. I certainly wouldn't want to be short at the moment, because that to me, there you go. So that's the trouble really. I know kind of what I think, but it's more of an educated guess. I've just seen areas that are vulnerable, and obviously with prices holding that EMA, so that is vulnerable. Does that mean we're going to continue up? Not necessarily. We just may pick off some liquidity before it pushes down. There's a lot of ifs and buts, isn't there? Along the 72s. See, I'm not. It's hard to say, really. Yeah, we do seem to be working up, but as I say, I've seen this before, and you know, when you see a picture like this, and we've seen that picture many times before, you have that feeling what it may do, and that's just experience of seeing this day in, day out. And whenever we get this picture, more often than not, it'll likely push down. So although it looks like it's moving up, I just haven't got the urge to go long, because I still think from experience this is likely to drop. I don't know what it's going to do then, but whenever it's like this, choppy, but with a slight upward bias, tells me it's going up really slow. It's struggling. And often the slower this thing goes up, the quicker it comes down. It's not strong enough at the moment, really, to push it up, because we're still getting, you know, we're still finding support up here. And you know, it's okay climbing up this line, but if you can't get through this top line, sooner or later this thing may just decide to drop. You can have liquidity there, you can bet your arse. There's bound to be some around here, so I wouldn't be surprised if this thing drops down and clears out all of this. Whether it'll come down to the bottom, who knows. How you doing, Sam? But yeah, if you look at bookmaps, see, we've got orders up here and we've got orders down here, so we know price moves to liquidity, but which way it's going to go first, I don't think I've ever really looked into this to use it straight. All I tend to look at it for is if I'm thinking about going short at an area and just above me is a huge amount of sell orders, that tells me it could trigger me, push up, pick up those sell orders and then come down. So at the moment, we've got orders down here and orders up here, but we do seem to be slowly working up. So is this that 87 or sorry 75 level going to be hit? It could be. It could well do. But there's nothing you can do up here at the moment. It's just it's not super clear. So those orders there are around the 75, which is there. Funnily enough, that's about a tick or two above the highs of the day so far. I mean, they're only recent highs, so but sometimes it just won't get up there. Sometimes it'll just launch down. Yes, good point. So it's hard to say, really. It's not really given us much, this. We know it could go up or it could go down. Yeah, I've got my my news alert on here, see. So that's kind of what I was concerned with, this coming down. So you got liquidity there. I'd be pretty confident it's going to take that. We look like we've got a leg down, 3 attempts to push higher, and then another leg down. So that this area's gone now. It's going to target. So it looks like it's working up, but it's not going up strong enough. So that's why I would avoid longs here. We've had a leg down, 3 attempts. That could be a measured leg. So even if it can get to the measured leg, it could still turn. But at the moment, it's actually bang on a measured leg there. So it could have a bounce there, but it's not super clear at the minute. I still wouldn't be shocked if we got a little bit lower. So there may have been some traders who took that. It's kind of 3 attempts, isn't it? But I'm just not sure at the moment, so I'm just sitting tight. Excuse me. Yeah, a couple took that one. Dan took that one. As I say, clearly 3 attempts to go up. I'm I don't like picking tops or trading tops. It's just not one of my strong points. Yeah. So I did mention that just this second. Dan's took it there. Excuse me, just a second. I've just got to go and sign for a parcel. Sorry about that. It's my daughter's 17th birthday tomorrow, so we got parcels coming all day, every day. It took that long on a sim, yeah. So. Now, this short is off the top here. Well, we're nearly at the lows now anyway. There's no way on God's earth I'm taking that. It's too big. 16 ticks, it's not finished yet. And we're already more or less at the lows, so is this coming down? Well, I think that's evident. But it is still a bit choppy. You know, there is a possibility we could break out to the top, or it may just decide to slice through this and continue to sort of range. It's very rangy on this side, isn't it? So, yeah, I mean, you could argue for both, couldn't you? Slight upward bias and then just rangy. Sometimes it'll do this and all of a sudden it'll just drop down and come back into the kind of meat of it. Yeah, it needs to do something, mate, doesn't it? It's trying. I mean, if the more times it tries to push up there, I think in a lot of cases it'll just give up and then just decide to push down. I mean, if you look at the two charts side by side, they look very different, really, don't they? They're kind of the same thing, but if I all of a sudden take that away, the difference is I've got that there instead of at the bottom. Do you know what? I actually prefer it without that. Yeah, Dan hasn't got that either. He's got that there and here as well. So yeah, he's got that the same. So we may come down a bit lower now. A lower high may be a better option. Trouble is, it's choppy here, so a lower high would be right into the middle there. We've got a channel break, new high bearish bar. Okay, so we've got some news coming up in 5 minutes. I do love that. I can't hear it because I've got my speaker switched off, but even though I'm looking at this side, I can clearly see it. and it's high impact news as well, so we really want to take care. Now, if you look at this, it's interesting to see this. You can see all this now, plenty of colour in there. Usually before the news, this goes black. So I suppose it depends what traders are expecting. But you can see this now, all these red lines. It's just continued right up to this line. I'll pull this back in a minute, and a lot of this will die off. I thought it might have happened by now, but perhaps it'll be a little bit closer. But they'll just, all that colour will seem to disappear. There is a second entry short there. I don't think it's a bad trade. It's probably going to work, but we're right in the middle of this chop, and we got the news. So if it continues to chop, you may get stuck in a trade. So I'm staying out of this at the moment. I mean, there is 3 bars back to back with a doji, so it's probably just the fact that it's in the middle of that lot makes it more risky, I think. And obviously with the news, so it's definitely stacking up now. So it's just too risky taking it there, really. Ooh. There you go. So if you'd have taken that, that's the trouble with taking it in the middle, really. You want to be buying off the bottom or shorting at the top. At best. So we got a channel with a break. We can get a short up here, 2 legs up. That wouldn't be a bad option. Unfortunately, we're a few minutes away from the news, so it's just, I don't really think it's an option. So leg and a leg, a short up here above these bits, I think would be solid, but hopefully the news comes and goes quick, doesn't do anything, and we may still get something. That's what I'm looking for, leg and a leg. Okay, news is in 2 minutes. We should get my red alarm now. No? Where's that gone then? Ah, there it is. So, leg and a leg. A short up here would be nice, I think. I just hope it slows down before, yeah, you can see this now, can't you? See how it was thick red lines? It looked like that. Now it's starting to darken off. So traders are dropping positions here. It looked like this a couple of minutes ago. So I think that's a good indication. We may get a move. Depends. I'll keep it there actually, but it should really die off. See these orders starting to get yanked now. So 45 seconds. Still orders in here. It's definitely dying though. 30 seconds to go. See if it gets darker. Yeah. See the difference, can't you? So I'm guessing we may get, yeah, now it goes. We may get a few fireworks here. Yeah, see them orders have all gone now by 1 or 2. So nothing major really. Trouble is, until it comes out, you never really know. So, yeah, in all fairness, you wouldn't have even noticed. There's a little flicker, but compared to this, there's the same size, so no issues there. See, orders starting to come back in now. So, see, there is a possible. We got two legs. There's a possible second entry long here. I'm just not sure at the moment. Signal bars naff, but this could come possibly low. We spent a bunch of time trying to get out the top and couldn't go anywhere, so it could come lower. But the signal bars just, it's no good. But it is a second entry long and it is two legs down, so it may work to go up, but I just don't like it at the moment, unfortunately. Spent a bunch of times trying to push up and it just couldn't do it, so you don't know whether it's going to come into the meat of it. But that is now a break out the bottom, so would you want to trade that as a fell breakout? Not for me. Okay, testing this area. Let's see how far it goes. And Q is as well as it. Okay, so we're testing this area. I'm guessing it's probably going to eat through some of this. Will it get down here? So we had that big strong push up with a break and a new high, and twice we bounced. So it'd be interesting to see if it gets as low as here. There is really, could argue, a little double bottom there, so it may not. It may just, you know, sometimes if it's a strong enough position, I mean, we're generally bullish at the moment, so there may be traders buying this and possibly buying here or maybe topping up here. So sometimes it'll get down and pick off these weaker positions, but sometimes these will stay intact. Doesn't look like they're gonna, but soon find out. So we've got a little bullish bar. It's cleared any liquidity here, so let's see what happens here. Stop it. Now we certainly could get a push up from here. So we've broken below here, so I think there's a good chance this pushes up at least that EMA. Oh, excuse me. Isco, how you doing, bud? So there is a possible higher low here. Channel break, new low. How do I feel about that? No, I'm just sitting tight at the moment. If we get above there, which we could well do, we'll get to that EMA, but it's just something about this that just isn't exciting me. We got a short fairly, but yeah, this, I mean, it certainly could come down a fair bit lower. Well, you may have got in on a limit order there, thinking we're going to push up. If we get above there, I think it will hit that EMA. Speedy, how you doing, buddy? See, Thomas Wade's talking about a second entry short here. I don't know how I'd feel about that because we're obviously finding some support. In fact, I'm inclined to take that down. That is better. We've got 1, 2, 3 touches there, 1, 2, few touches there. So it may bounce from here. So I'm glad I left that higher low alone. I wouldn't be surprised if that gets taken out. 2, 3. So we had a break, 1 attempt, 2 attempts. So there's 3 attempts to push lower. If this can't push lower, it may go up. We're definitely finding support here. I'd certainly expect that to get taken out, but you just never know. I know there's quite lots of short orders at 65 up here. So there's plenty of space back if we get a triple test down here, 1, 2, 3. So if you'd have taken that, you'd have just had to stop it. And that one there. So we had a break, 2 pushes to a new low. Two, 3. There's a triple test there. Just a bit unsure whether I think this is coming down and testing this area or whether it's just going to push up. It may well just turn up. Double bottom there. Got a higher low here. I'd probably have a go at that. It is holding here. I'm not sure actually. There are orders as low as down here. So there's quite a few orders down here. About 58 there's orders down here. And 55. So this thing may have other ideas. Doesn't necessarily mean if there's enough buyers here, it won't really make a difference. But so I'm not thinking about short now. My guess is where it's hit, it's more likely going to go up. There you go, it's taking off. Yeah, it's definitely acting just like a range now, really. I can't see this coming down. There is orders down here, but I don't think it will now. We've had a lot of strong support there. We've definitely, that channel's played out with a lot of strong support. My guess is it's going to push up. We've sliced straight for that EMA relatively easily. So I think this is going to push up now. I was tempted. You could argue triple test there, but you just never quite know. There is going to be liquidity down here. So you just never know. It's a little bit stacked up. I can't see anyone who took a trade there. It hasn't gone very far. So there's always a possibility we could have something larger coming down here. We may get another leg. I'm not super confident, but because obviously up to now it's just a range really. Going short for me is an option, but it only got up to that middle and it came back really strong. So I think I think it's more likely now to go lower. So excuse me, I can't stop yawning today. Yeah, we just couldn't get nowhere really. We got up close to that midline and woof, down it came. So let's see if we get any resistance here. We've taken out a bunch of liquidity here. There is some down here, but we may come back, test this area first, and then possibly push down some more to clear this out. Could be a sell-off day. It certainly could be. It's hard to tell, isn't it? I'd like to test this area here with the possibility of continuing down. We've cleared all this out. Now, I mean, we've had this big strong push up with a pullback. You'd like to think that is going to, well, obviously buyers there, but not a terrible position to buy earlier on with the possibility of risking that much and getting a big move up, because obviously, you know, we've had this, you could argue we've got a leg up, we could get another leg up. So, you know, if you were, you know, buying overnight or whatever, and you wanted to just drop an order in here somewhere and risk that much with the potential to get a bigger move. So it may hold. But it's not looking. It's certainly looking like it's trying to break below there. We've got a lower high here, but could be a failed breakout, so it could push up. So there's just too many variables at the moment. Now, whether there is a channel like that, I've got no idea. It's not working too bad around the midline, but you really want it to go up and test it again, really. So that's more of an area of interest. So channel down. Let's see if we retest the bottom of this. Yeah, Dan's just said might be a wider downtrend. No guarantees, which is why I've kind of left the colour out of it. So it's an area of interest as opposed to a confirmed downtrend. But it certainly could. We pushed down there quite easily, and we're pulling back. So is this just going to be a failure, and we're going to push back in, or is it going to continue down? So there's big orders right here now, just got taken. Big orders got taken there. So let's see what happens here. Now, let's see if we get reaction. So, are we getting a reaction here? We certainly could be. Maybe not. Do I trade? Yes, mate. There's my replicanto. They're all hooked up together. I think that's one of the best reasons to have multiple accounts. Good thing is you can trade them all at a nice small level, but obviously you're making X amount of times. Sorry, I can't stop yawning for some reason. You're making multiple times. You can't. All I try and do is think about trading one account, and the rest kind of come along for the ride. Now it's hard to keep that in your mind sometimes, because if you take a loss, instead of losing $200, you're losing 15 times it or whatever, which I think sometimes can get in your head a little bit. But I try and just focus on trading one account, and the rest are just kind of in the background. So this just may be a breakout that's failed. I could move that up a bit. Squeeze that there, I think I could do. But it can't go any further. Fits nice at the bottom, so it would have to drop here, really. Could argue there's a break in it. It's hard to know here. You could, I don't know, I think Dan keeps a lot of these quite tight. So you may argue there's a break and a new high there, but I'm not super convinced. So just for that reason, I think that's more like that, in which case I thought we may get two legs there. So, okay, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break and make a coffee. I can't stop yawning for some odd reason. So rather sit here and be rude and yawn all day long, I'm going to go and make myself a quick cup of coffee. So I'll leave you with that. Everything's shut down, isn't it? So I'll be around about 5 minutes. Okay. So it's interesting. Straight up to the top now. Is there a channel up there? Maybe. Yeah, it's not the easiest of days today, is it? So we've got a channel with a break and new high. See, we may have already had 2 legs up, but there is orders up here, see, so but there is a lower high there. I'm just not taking it at the moment. I'm not really sure what's going on. Could continue up. There are orders up there, right up here. So, not only that, if this is a range here, we've broken out the bottom, so we could break out the top a little bit. Get a possible failure here. Trouble is, that looks like a break with 1 push-up. We'd quite likely get a second push-up. Okay, channel, break, 2 pushes to a new high. Break out the bottom of this range, break out the top. Kind of what I was expecting. Okay, not bearish bar there. 2 legs up. May come back and retest this, but I'm just sitting tight here. Need a lower high really to come down to here. It is 2 nice little legs, so it may work. It's not a huge risk. On your 50k account, you think that you could trade bigger size you are and still feel secure? That's an interesting question. It's a tough one, that is. I traded 2 contracts for a long time, and then I came down to 1 contract. And what I found is when I was trading 2 contracts, yeah, you kind of make more money, but you do risk money. But I found it affected the way I trade. Now, obviously, there's a scale, isn't there? Now, if you're risking $5, any type of trade, you jump in, wouldn't you? And if you're risking $500, you'd probably be quite scared to get in. So I think it's finding somewhere where you're not risking too much, but you can, you know, get a reasonable sort of growth out your account. But bearing in mind, trading prop firms is very different than trading your own account. If I get a, let's say for instance, I get one of these PAs, recent PAs I picked, so I paid about $17 for the evaluation, and I paid $85. So realistically, that account owes me about $105 for argument's sake. I get $2,500 a drawdown. So basically, forget the 50,000; it's irrelevant. All you really get is $2,500 to trade with. Now that has cost you just, let's say, $100 for argument's sake. With your own account to get that drawdown, you'd be risking $2,500. So you automatically take that into consideration when you're trading. Now, normally traders will talk about 1 to 2%, somewhere around there. It also depends how you trade. You know, what sort of size you trade, how much, you know, what your sort of winter reward is, that type of thing. So you can risk a bit more with prop firms. Now, would I risk what? Let's say, for instance, 1 contract I'm risking, say, an average of 150. So 2,500 drawdown, 250 is 10%. So you're risking about 6%, which in itself I don't think is a huge amount. But I feel a bit more comfortable trading 1 now. I've got 1 contract on some of my accounts and 2 on some of them. But I've messed around going back to 2 up to 1. But I think I feel more comfortable when I'm risking 1. I think it depends on you really, and obviously what you're trading as well. You wouldn't trade that much if you were trading the NQ. I think a lot of traders trade micros with the NQ because obviously, you know, the little movement in the NQ is substantially more risk. You trade ES, yeah. I prefer the ES. It's a little bit more sedentary than the NQ. The NQ can be a little bit more unpredictable. It can pop a bit. It flicks around a little bit more. So 1 to 2 contract. I think 1 is doable. As I say, you're risking around about 5 to 6%. Now, normally you wouldn't risk that with your own money, but we're not risking our own money. We're risking, I think, less than a tenth of it. Well, 1/20th of it, if you think about the offer we've had. You know, I would have to lose, if I'm risking 150, 10 trades in a row, that's 1,500, say, with it. I'd have to lose 16, 17 trades in a row to blow an account at that rate. If you're losing, you could keep your eyes shut and trade and win and not lose 16 trades in a row. So it depends on how you feel about it. You know, the more we risk, the more nervous you are. And the more nervous you are, that can affect your trading. It can affect the outcome after a losing trade. You know, if we were sitting here all day risking $5, you wouldn't bat an eyelid whether you won it or not, would you? You'd just play the game. But then it would take you a month of Sundays to you know, to try and get a reasonable amount. So it's finding something that kind of is the right balance. But I found I was getting very nervous in trades when I was risking 2 contracts, and the second the thing was going green, I wanted out of it, which is not ideal, really. So depends on the trader level, we know. Yes, I mean, if you've got very, very good self-control, and not only that as well, if you've got a nice healthy bank account, you can do your job without having to worry about making money. Because if you're a full-time trader, you've got to have an income, and if you're on the breadline all the time, you've got no backup money. It's going to make trading a lot harder. If you've got $250,000 sat in your bank, your wife earns a great living, you've paid your mortgage, you're comfortable. You could probably risk a bit more. But it depends on your circumstances, really. Do you know what I mean? But I find one is better for me. I probably traded for a year and a half, I think. At least trading 2 contracts, but I just found it was just too detrimental on my mental health, to be honest with you. I found the more contracts I risked, the more single malt I was drinking, so you know what I mean? It didn't work very well. And same again, evaluations. I trade evaluations. I go 10 contracts on evaluations, which ain't wise, to be fair. But yeah, everyone's different, I think. Everyone's different. But, you know, you obviously want to try and grow an account. If I was risking a couple of micros and making $30 a trade, it would take me 7, 8, 9 months to get the account anywhere near enough to kind of make a withdrawal. And I don't want that. I don't want to take a lot of time, but I also don't want to be doing stupid. So I think if you're risking 5 or 6% on a prop account, I think that's fine. You probably risk half of that or less than half of that if it was your own money. So I think prop account, because you're not risking €2,500 your own money. It's only cost you $100 for your eval and your PA with, you know, with the current sale we've had on. Look, that's why I have a wife or a husband. It's not a good excuse. Depends on what your wife's like. If your wife does your head in, if you're going through a terrible divorce, then that might not help. I got a supportive wife. I'm quite lucky. So when I have a bad day, my wife's quite supportive. Let's have a look. Morning with Apex. Can a trader flip micros for 2 days? Yes. So you've got to trade for 8 days. 5 of those days you need a profit of $50 or more. On the remaining 3, you could trade 1 micro and 1 tick. So you could literally, I've done it myself. Set a micro, put a micro on there, set your ATM strategy, 1 or 2 ticks up or down. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose. It's $1, couple of dollars maximum you're going to lose. Either way, it's irrelevant. But yeah, as long as you've got over $50 profit on 5 of those 8 days, you can flip the rest. You're good to go. See, if I go to do something stupid, I imagine Karina stood in front of me with a big black whip, ready to give me a crack over the knuckles if I move my stop. So in fact, I went for a period of having my wife sat next to me when I was trading. And I said, if I revenge trade, drag me away from the computer. What she didn't realise how I was revenge trading with her sat next to me. She didn't have a clue. You're welcome, mate, anytime. I mean, if you've got a trader buddy, you can trade together. That's ideal, I think. whatever you got to do to to make it work. But yeah, if there's a couple of you who trading together, you got a couple of mates who trade together, it's a good idea. You can help and support each other. One has a good day and the other one hasn't. You could get you. But it's getting distracted enough to get you away. But I mean, for me, I think these bits of software that are coming out which stop you trading, I think they're worth the weight in gold. I think Guardian Angel Trader I use. I think there's the other one's called Quant, not Quant Tower. I can't remember. Is it Quant Tower? No, that's a different software, isn't it? Quant Guard, I think it's called. So they're a good idea, actually. You can literally lock you out, and it can get you out of bad habits. It's like having a gambling addiction where the online bookmakers literally block you from taking risks. So they're useful bits of software. The trouble is, I don't always blame the trader, because prop firms make these evaluations incredibly attractive. $15, $18, $20. And the trouble is, when it's so cheap, you don't care for them as much. You don't take as much care out of them, and it's very easy to take risks. And you get into a habit of doing that, it's hard to get out. We've got two legs back here and a bullish bar there. I'm very tempted to go long there. I'm just going to sit tight just at the moment, in case we get another move and a triple test. We've got two legs back, but it is only a first entry. It may work, but at the moment I prefer a triple test. What I will say is you could even move that up a bit and we're still testing the top there. So yeah, I don't think it's a terrible trade that you look at it as two legs down, penguin style trade. But I'm just going to wait in case we get a triple test, and then kind of just let it go. It is only a first entry, really. I don't think you could say it's a triple test. It's only really bounce once, bounce the second time. More people blow. Yeah, absolutely. It's like anything in life, isn't it? Let's take the supermarkets and the food manufacturers. What they do, they put fat, salt and sugar and everything. Why? Because they know sugar is more addictive than heroin. But they put sugar in it. Why? Because we eat more, they sell more, they make more profits. So these companies, it's their business to suck you in. But it's like anything. Have you noticed when you go into, obviously, to the supermarkets, just before you go out the tills, what do? They stick chocolate there, they stick cakes there, they stick stuff, because they know you're going to see them and think, go on, I'll throw them in the shopping trolley. The trouble is, you eat them all the time, you get highly addicted to them. What happens? You get sicker and sicker, and they get richer and richer. Same thing with prop firms. They dangle a carrot in front of your nose. Here's a nice cheap evaluation for you. You can have as many as you like. You can pass it in one day. What do? You grab hold of it because it's cheap, and you take a risk. It can get you into a bad habit, like eating too much sugar can get you into a bad habit of being addicted to sugar. So you can't blame these companies. It's their business, but it's important to kind of be aware of it, and just to kind of, what I like to do is to have periods of time where I'm saying, you're not having any of my money this week. I'm in control. You know, it doesn't look like it's working that. But yeah, I mean, we are kind of all responsible for ourselves. But you know, take the food industry. You know, we know now sugar's bad for us. It wasn't always the case. You're going back 30 years, there was no issues with sugar. It was fat that was bad for you. Now it's completely different. They're saying fat's not bad for you. It's much better than carbs. Obviously, carbs make you hold on to weight. Carbs make you addicted. Fat and protein don't addict you. You know, obviously, with the era of keto diets and the carnivore diets, people are shifting from everything was fat-free and fat-free years ago, and they threw loads of sugar into it, get you all addicted. Now it's completely changed. Everyone's lowering the carbs. But these companies do know how to suck you in. They're experts at it. But you know, the trouble is, I mean, if you look at look at the food industry, you've got experts saying the carnivore diet's better for you. You know, we don't need this, we don't need that. Just eat meat, salt, and water. They're the experts. A lot of doctors, a lot of professors, you know, a lot of science people. And then you've got another bunch of experts and science people saying plant-based diet's better for you, don't eat the meat. So if the experts can't make their mind up, you know, what are the likes of us got? So, you know, we're kind of stuck really, aren't we? So, excuse me just 1 second. Sorry about that. Daughter just came home from her first day at college. She hates it. Next day. Okay, so let's have a look. We've pushed up there. We've bounced 3 times, and now we're moving higher, or are we? We've got orders at 80 and we've got orders at 85, so I'm guessing this is probably going to go higher. And maybe a fell, but I can't take that. The bar's no good, really. Trouble is, as we've pushed up into this, excuse me, I think there's a good chance we could push up out of it. I mean, we have a little bit, but when we push up into something, I often think it could continue on up. There's no signal bar there anyway. It's like a 50-50 bar on it, so we could push a bit higher. So Marco's just posted his chart, and he's got that. So I don't know, it's irrelevant now. However way we've had a break, 2 pushes to a new high. So he's got that. I'm not necessarily convinced. It just looks like 2 legs up to me. In fact, I'm just going to leave it like that. It doesn't look like a channel to me personally. Just looks like 2 legs up. If there's any type of a channel, I think it's more that type of thing, but it's a bit too early to tell. So that, yeah, it just looks like a channel up with a break, 2 pushes to a new high, and then some congestion. So okay, so I think this is possibly going to go a little bit higher. How far, I don't know. But there was no signal bar to go short here anyway, so there is orders up at 85 up here. There's also large orders down here, so that's tempting. I'm just not sure at the moment because of those orders up here. It may work, but I'm just sitting tight at the moment. There's just something that's making me feel a bit uneasy. It is a lower high, channel break new high. It is a lower high, but it's a little bit congested. If you take that bar there, that bar there, that bar, and one of them's a doji, it's a little congested here. For me, I'm a little bit uncertain. Is this going to push a bit higher up to the measured leg, or is it going to come down just to the EMA, or is it going to push down into the meat of the... But this, to me, is a little bit unclear. So I'm just going to trust my gut here. And if you look at this side, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 bars stacked side by side here. So it's a little bit higgledy-piggledy, for want of a better word. Now, it may work, but my gut feeling is telling me to stay out of this, so I'm doing exactly that. Now, we have got a channel, we have got a break, and we have got a new high, and it is a lower high. But it's not for me. And now it is stacking up, so all the more reason. So if you're in this trade now and price is doing this, straight away you'd be thinking, I've made a mistake here. Now, it doesn't mean it won't continue down. Sometimes it will, but it's completely stacked up now. I think after a while, you just get a feeling for it just by looking at that picture. See, some traders may think, well, let's go long here, but you don't know whether it's just going to take off these and then come down or go higher. It's too far from the EMA. It's sat on... I wouldn't want to go long here either because it's clearly congested. Can put a perfect box around that now. However you want to look at it, it's this bit that's concerning me. Now, 1, 2, 3. You may get a triple test here to go short, but at the moment it's stacked up. So nothing for me. There's always a possibility there is something larger moving up. I did put something there a minute ago, but it's still a little bit too early. So now it's even more stacked up. So this is just telling us that we're not sure where we're going. You've got shorts in here, you've got longs in here. Which is going to give first? Yeah. Trouble is, the more sideways it go, that reduces the risk of getting the result you want. You never know. You don't know what's going to work and what's not. Okay, so that definitely ate through a few stops there. You can see that have a bit of a plunge there. So the lower high did work in the end, but to be honest with you, even there, 1, 2, 3, it's still a little bit congested. You can see it here a bit more clearer, but that's where we had it up into the lower high here. But we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 bars stacked side by side, and one of them's a doji. So straight away, you got to pay attention to it. Now, it may still work. Sometimes it does. But the chance of it working is less than you would normally expect from a trade. But there is a few things going for it. The fact that we've had a channel break, new high and a lower high. The fact that it's, at a breakout, and often breakouts fail. But when it's stacked up, that just adds that little bit of caution there, and that's enough caution for me just to sit tight. And not just that, when you get in and it does that, usually the first thing you're thinking about is how can I get out of this trade anyway, so you probably wouldn't even go on to do that. So what I will say is a lot of these bigger sell orders are up here are starting to disappear. So there's bigger orders further down lower. So we've obviously cleared this area here. So this, it's hard to say, but I wouldn't be surprised if this thing started to move down. There is going to be liquidity here for sure. Trouble is, it's very tempting to take that, and it's a failure, I think. Trouble is, it ain't closed yet, and you're already at the lows, so there's just nothing to take it. Now, it may plunge below these a little bit, but you can't go short into the lows. There's just no space. So 73.74. So there's buy orders down here. So if you had a second entry long off around about here, I wouldn't mind having a go. So there's orders. There's quite a bit of orders around about the 73.74, which is right here. So leg and a leg, whether we get it or not, who knows. Okay, folks, I think I'm done for the day. I've got a couple of things back for an hour a little bit later. So I'll leave you guys to it. So I appreciate set up. Failing that, have a great evening. Stay safe. We'll catch you.